This week we are talking about change. Change seems inevitable and people are often resistant to change. Take for instance the weather this week in Kentucky. It's springtime and it should be nice and warm, but instead it was 33 yesterday morning when I went to walk my dog. Not really comfortable with that type of change. We find within our organizations people are resistant to change as well. So as we begin our last of 3 weeks looking at teams and how they function, I want to consider a couple different characteristics of how change takes place within our organizations. The first one is, what are the drivers of change, both internal and external? And our textbook takes us through some information and a framework for understanding what it is that's driving the change that's happening to our organization. We're presented in our material this week with two models of how change takes place. The first one is Kurt Lewin's model, the force analysis, and that's presented in the textbook. The second is John Kotter's work, and that's in the Harvard Business Review article posted on Discovery. And then we want to move into why exactly is it that we have so much resistance when we try to implement change within organizations and teams. And we look at two articles, one that presents change on an individual level and the other that presents it on an organizational level. Both are important perspectives for us to understand as we are trying to lead change or maybe a part of change and trying to make sense of it all. And then the last article is, I think, kind of an interesting counterpoint to this idea that we're resistant to it, which argues that if we want to be a sustainable organization, if we want to continue moving forward and doing the work that we do today, whether it be in a mission field or in a corporate setting, that we really embrace change, because to not change is to become extinct. To not change and not to embrace and welcome change is to go out of business, to no longer serve the group of people we're trying to serve. So those are the topics that we take up as we analyze change this week. In our assignments, the case assignment draws together skills for tomorrow. We have a variety of different topics from teams and team-related things that we've talked about over the past 3 weeks. And our dialogue is dealing specifically with organizational change and the roles that you play as a leader and how your organization implements change. So that's our coverage on change. Next week, we're going to dive into our first of 2 weeks on strategy, and we'll move to a different book, Mission Drift, as our primary text for that topic.